Hey fellas, how's it going? It's your boy for Isaac. We all love Isaac, don't we?
Isaac, we love you.
I mean, if not, I'm not really sure why you're here, but anyways, there's plenty of characters to play in this glorious game that each have their own special items, abilities, passives, and playstyles. In this special video, I'm going to rank them all by how fun they are to play. No crazy in-depth stats, no metas, just how much enjoyment you get out of playing the character. And let's just get straight into it. Disclaimer, this is my personal opinion and is not fact. Please roast me in the comments below if you disagree. Also, this list will only be covering normal characters. I still don't even have Tainted Jacob unlocked and have no plans to unlock him in the future. Alrighty, starting off with Apollyon. You know what? Usually a pretty fun character. He's got an amazing active item in Void that just, guarantees either good stats or a good item. And he's got alright stats all around already. I mean, voided actives can lead to cool stuff, like, if you void a 6 charge and use it only for 4 charges, it can be fun. Usually, he's a pretty good time, you can get good stats and good items and whatnot, and he's just alright. So I think always a fun time makes sense for him. Alrighty, on to Azazel. I honestly am debating putting him in Goated Run incoming, but I think that's just my, I don't know, my rookie self talking here. He starts with Flight, which is amazing. He starts with Brimstone, even if it is at a lower range. And he starts with Black Hearts, which are good and can be bad, I suppose, if you do need some red HP. He's an amazing, amazing character on the first 2 floors that unfortunately falls off hard if you don't get any good items or synergies. Overall, he's a great character, and he's just super fun to relax on every now and then, so I think we're going to put him in always a fun time. I think that makes the most sense for him. Moving on to Bethany. Bethany is an interesting character. She's got an amazing active item. It spawns wisps that depends on the other active item that you hold. It guarantees you an angel room on the 2nd floor, which is absolutely amazing. And she has this passive called Soul Charges, where she cannot add soul hearts or black hearts to her health bar, and instead turns them into charges that she can save up for her active items. Well, it sounds like it can be a good thing, and definitely can be. This also means that she has to play perfect on the 2nd floor to keep her angel chance. So she's definitely interesting. She has cool synergies and is solid, but for me, sometimes I just don't find myself having the most fun on Bethany runs. Unless, Godhead in the first angel room, but that's rare, so we'll leave her in solid for now. Now we move on to Blue Baby. This character, no pun intended, is pretty ass. He does have some stuff going for him for sure. I mean, the poop is a 1-charge active item that, can spawn a blue Phi when he destroys it, and can also give him a pickup. And if he gets petrified poop, he turns into a very, very good character. But he's just not that fun. Having the poop and that's it. Also, the inability to get red heart containers and only having soul hearts can hurt him for sure. But a hidden passive that some people actually don't know about is that he can take devil deals for their red heart container price instead of the soul heart container price, which makes devils a very, very easy choice for him. But, all in all, I still somewhat dread playing him, and I'm just here for the Mars, little bro. Alrighty, and now moving on to Cain. Honestly, the most low-key, under-the-radar, goated character on this list. Solid stats, really good luck, and, starting with Lucky Foot just allows for so much fun when it comes to pills, and also better tier effects. Paperclip is a really good trinket that lets you, open gold chests, which is fantastic for free. He's the gambling guy, and I love gambling, so it's always fun. And, yeah, in terms of fun on Cain, you're always going to have a fun time. You're not necessarily going to be rigging the hell out of your runs, but he's just always fun to play, so we'll leave him in always a fun time. Alrighty, and now moving on to Eden, the only true random character in the Binding of Isaac. He is fun because I like gambling, in my opinion. Random stats, random item, random active, random trinket, and consumable. Maybe it's just me, but he's always a good time. Sometimes you get a terrible start, sure. However, the R key is always an option to hold down, provided you have enough Eden tokens, of course. He's always just a really fun character, even if you get a bad start. You don't have to play it, It's not like it's going to be the same every time. You can restart, see if you can get something better. So, I think he's always a fun time. Alrighty, moving on to Eve. An interesting character, for sure. Razorblade works really well on her, especially with Dead Bird and Horror Babylon. She was buffed in Repentance Plus. Her Dead Bird now persists between rooms as long as she's hurt. And you have the capacity to lead to some crazy early game damage. But low health is always staring you down. Even so, though, the stress kind of makes it pretty fun. So, I would say she's solid. You know, I don't say she's fun enough that she's on par with Apollyon, Azazel, Cain, and Eden, but she's definitely not as bad as Blue Baby. So I think solid is where she fits best. Alrighty, moving on to the OG, the GOAT, Isaac. Solid stats, and one of, if not, the most goated active items in the games that allows you to rig the absolute hell out of your runs. Isaac in the D6 unlocks so many possibilities. If you have a bad item, you could just re-roll it. You have an item in the secret room, you can re-roll it. The possibilities are absolutely endless, and that makes Isaac so much fun. The only thing holding him back is the D6. Ironically, if your luck is bad, you won't get anything good, but because he has the capacity to rig runs, you always know that it's gonna be goated. Alrighty, moving on to Jacob and Esau. Ugh, pain. Alright, look, I know there are some Jacob and Esau heads out there, but these characters, they just complicate your runs. You know, the positives, at least, you can take both items in a choice room, like in Downpour or in the Mines, and you can do the same in an Angel room if there's 2 items. Also, 2 bombs are placed for the cost of 1, which is nice, but unfortunately, you are playing Jacob and Esau, which means you are controlling 2 characters that can quickly complicate things and get out of hand. It's simply just not a fun time, in my opinion. The only thing saving them and giving them the slightest grace is that their unlocks are unbelievable, but doing those still is just not fun. So, you cry when you play this character. Now moving on to Judas. Judas is honestly pretty similar to a character like the Lost. You only have 1 heart container, so you essentially have no health, but extremely high damage and a goated active item in the Book of Belial, which grants a damage up on each use and is a higher chance for Devil and Angel rooms passively. It's super fun to use, and the character is super fun in general. He carries you through the early floors as long as you're not getting hit very often. But, you know, he's missing that capacity for rigged runs, but he's always really fun at the very least. So, I think always a fun time serves him best. Now we move on to Keeper, which is, I think, the most interesting character on this list, honestly. He's honestly just Tainted Keeper's dumb brother. Yes, wooden nickels, you know, pretty cool. It has a 50% chance to drop a random coin, which is really good. It's only 1 charge. And he has free access to his better shops. He starts with triple shot, but that's pretty much it. He doesn't have much else going for him. Starting with triple shot is, like, okay, in my opinion. It's just alright on its own. Can lead to good synergies, for sure, but he's just kind of there, you know? I don't really enjoy playing Keeper. He's, like, not that fun, so I think I'm honestly just here for the marks and just to unlock Tainted Keeper. He's just okay. Alrighty, moving on to Lazarus. Laz is a cool character, a very cool concept, you know? Decent stats, the ability to bleed when he gets hit, and a free revive on every floor that lets him come back as Lazarus Risen, which is much stronger than his base form. There's really just not that much to say about him. He's not really that fun in comparison to other characters like Isaac or the Lost, but he's not necessarily bad either. I'll put him in solid characters for now. Alrighty, on to Lilith. A very interesting concept for a character that can unfortunately be a very bad slog on the early floors. Having to compensate for only your Incubus firing your tears can be really annoying, and enemies that move quickly can be hard to deal with. However, a Box of Friends is a great active item that easily bails you out on boss rooms or big rooms, and Lilith is undeniably the most fun character to play in Boss Rush, hands down. So, she's not necessarily always a fun time, but she's definitely solid, so I think we'll leave her there for now. Alrighty, moving on to Maggie, a character that some people hate, myself included until recently, but man, can she ever rig runs on the first floor. Lots of health, plus Yum Heart, plus a full health pill if you have it unlocked, means sacrifice rooms pay out almost all of the time. You know, While it can be hard to deal with, like, early enemies or early bosses with low damage, her large amount of health, it just always leads to fun, especially with rigging. Is she always a fun time? I'd say 99% of the time. She is solid, though, so I'll put her at the front of solid characters because there's that 1% of time where you don't get a sack room, or the sack room doesn't phase out, where it's just not the most fun. Alrighty, on to Samson, the rookie player's character, where getting hit rewards you with more damage for the floor. Not only does getting hit reward you with damage, any damage does. So, for example, if you go into a curse room, that's a damage up. Leaving the curse room is a damage up. Getting any type of damage is a damage up. Items like Razor Blade or Dull Razor work amazingly with him, and this is honestly just Isaac with Bloody Lust, is essentially all Samson is. He's just okay in terms of fun. You know, he's solid, I wouldn't call him fun, and I would say that he's better for his marks. I'd say he's solid. Now, onto the Forgotten. A very cool concept for a character that's a little difficult to unlock, but still fun, and is just executed perfectly. You know, you start with Bone Hearts, you start with a high damage melee, the ability to just be the Lost from being the Soul at any point, on a leash of course, but it can allow you to have two different synergies of items at the same time, which makes things even more fun. You know, the Forgotten is just one of those characters where you play him, and he's just solid, and he's always fun. It can lead to some early game breaks with curse rooms, and it's just, it's super, super fun. I'd say that the Forgotten and the Soul are always a fun time. And now moving on to the final character of this list, and my personal favorite character, the Lost. Having Flight, check. Spectral Tears, check. The Eternal D6, check. A Holy Mantle, check. What else can I say? You have the absolute advantage on the early floors. You can reroll items, sometimes, of course. You get free curse rooms. You could take Devil Deals for free, but only one. And the Lost just gives you so much to work with. He's always fun. Early game breaks almost always happen if you get an item in the secret room. I hope it doesn't get deleted. But the Lost is always super, super fun. I would say even higher than Isaac, in my opinion. Right, and these are all the normal characters. Now, let's go through and make sure everyone is where I want them to. Now, who is the highest in terms of always a fun time? I would say probably Azazel, just because you don't really have to think when you play this character, and it's just fun. Apollyon is good, and Cain and Eden, I'd say, are pretty interchangeable. And I would say Forgotten honestly edges out Judas in terms of fun. Judas is the bottom of always a fun time. And then in solid characters, I'd definitely say Maggie's first, because it's solid, but the capacity to break. I would honestly put Eve higher than Bethany, because Eve can just be more fun for damage, and Lazarus, Lilith, and Samson are just kind of okay, so I'm happy with them there. And do I think Blue Baby's better than Keeper? No, I would much rather play Keeper over Blue Baby. And of course, Jacob and Esau will be sitting rotting down in the cry section. I think that makes sense for sure. Well, there you have it, lads. The final tier list on how fun all of these normal Isaac characters are. I think I'm honestly pretty happy with this list. I know the tainted characters aren't here, but maybe I'll make another video on that in the future if you guys are interested. Also, let me know your thoughts on this list in the comments below, what you agree with, what you don't agree with. With that, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Please consider subscribing or liking the video if you enjoyed, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Peace.